Jamal, welcome back. What is the feeling kind of coming back into the building, just getting ready to go, getting ready for another season?
It feels great. I think we're all excited and coming back refreshed mentally and ready to go.
Jamal, now that you had a summer to sit on it, what do you think is the biggest lesson for the team collectively from last year and for you personally for last year?
Just taking it day by day, one day at a time, bringing our best each and every day, and just kind of bringing that work ethic. We know what it takes to win a championship. It was tough to go back to back, and now we realize how tough that was. So going into this year with the better experience, better knowledge, and some new pieces as well.
Jamal, I know you mentioned before the Olympics that you were focused on Team Canada and wanted to wait on contract talks and all that. How, I guess, pleased are you that you're locked in Denver for the foreseeable future? And was there any point where you were not confident that a deal would get done, or were you pretty sure about it the whole time?
Pretty confident, man. Pretty confident. I'm happy to be here.
Jamal, how much are you looking forward to playing with Russell Westbrook, and what does his energy provide to this team?
I think everybody knows what Russ brings to the table and the type of energy and passion he plays with. He's brought that everywhere he's gone. He's going to bring leadership here as well. So I think he's going to be really good for us. And just excited to get it going. Obviously, this is our first time seeing each other, so just excited to set foot on court and get things rolling.
Jamal, do you have any goals that are different this year than in previous years? And if so, what are they?
No, all the same.
Jamal, sorry to be the guy to ask, but how are you feeling physically, or is there going to be any limitations to start this short training camp?
No, feel good.
Jamal, can you, obviously Team Canada, you were with Team Canada, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Team Canada and something that you learned from there and bring to the team for this year?
Not really. Honestly, that's two different teams. I'm only with Team Canada for a month, so no, not really. Just excited to be here. Excited to get things rolling, man. Every season, every new season is a new opportunity for all of us. So we want to get going on the right foot and just have the right approach, especially early on.
Coach Malone mentioned you've talked to some of the young guys about urgency, about this window, I guess, for lack of a better word. Do you tell the new guys or tell the young guys about that as an emphasis for you and your window, and how does the contract and that being behind you affect that?
I don't understand the question. Say it again.
How important is this window for you? And because Coach Malone said you told the guys, look, you can rest in 20 years. We're in this window now.
Yeah, just like I said, it's a new opportunity for everybody, and just make the most of it. Don't take advantage of, or don't take it for granted. The opportunity that we have of winning right now, it doesn't come by often, and it doesn't happen everywhere. That was just my message to them, and I think as the players, as the young guys get older, they'll see that it's tougher to win in this league, and it's tough to, even for GMs, to create a team like this, that this well talented and that gets along this well, I think off the court as well. So I just said, just take advantage of the moment, and we got a chance to do some great things. Let's make the most of it.
Jamal, I believe you said last season one of your individual goals was to improve your individual defense. I wonder if you had any similar kind of goal this season. What would you like to get better at?
Obviously everything, but nothing that stands out in particular.
Jamal, Malone was saying that Julian's been in the gym pretty much every day this summer. I was just curious, sort of, if you've already seen a beginning to now development from him when he got drafted, and just sort of what stood out to him.
Yeah, I think he's just getting more comfortable. I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting comfortable handling the ball in situations and making reads, not feeling rushed or not feeling like the game is too fast like it is in college. But yeah, he's been hooping, and we expect that of him. He's a great talent, and his skill set has great potential. So I think the sky's the limit for him, and as long as he keeps working and stays committed to himself and his goals, he'll be just fine.
Jamal, what's it always like to not really talk to Joker a lot during the summer and then see him on the first day, and then I saw he has a beard now, kind of? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, we saw each other at the Olympics. He had a beard then, so I don't know.
Jamal, you'll be playing a lot more with Julian and Christian this year. How do each of those guys complement your game, and how can they help the team get to where you guys want to go?
Both are winners, man. They both know how to win and want to win, are hungry to win and get better. And they bring that to the team that they're on, man. They even in the huddles, they're not afraid to speak up or say something. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I can tell that they're going to be young leaders, just kind of coming into their own. So I've always expected great things from CB, and Julian's just proving to everybody that how lethal of a player he can be. Especially in these coming years, just needs some more experience, needs more playing time, needs to kind of go through the mistakes to have an even bigger leap. So, like I said, we're all really excited for those guys.
Jamal, I think this was your second summer in a row hanging out and working out with Alexander Volkanovski. Did I say that correctly? I'm just curious what you're hoping to get out of that as a competitor, or is that just more of a getaway from basketball, you love MMA, kind of other interests type of deal?
I love MMA. Obviously, it's cool to, my coaches are the best in the world, or former champs in the world, so I thought that was cool. And it's just refreshing, man. It's refreshing for me to go and do something else that I love. It's a lot of fun. I might have a career there after this, but I'm doing this right now.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we have some productive talks with his representation, and we're able to find a deal that we're both satisfied with. He's been an integral part of what we've done, and I'd like to keep him here for a long time.
Cal, I was curious about the acquisition of Russell Westbrook. Nikola Jokic's decision to endorse Westbrook coming here affect the transaction?
I'll work backwards here. I think Nikola's done a really good job of, letting us do our job. I think him and Russ do have a relationship, and I think he has a respect for his game. But it was a collaborative decision between Josh, Coach Malone, and myself to bring Russell in. We think he's going to bring so much to the table as far as energy, athleticism. Early signs is maybe, he might shoot it a little bit better than people expect him to. Watch him shoot in the gym. It's definitely not going to be something he depends on a lot, but that'll be a great benefit if he can, have some good three-point shooting games. But I think you bring in a first ballot Hall of Famer that's a winner that competes, and I think he's going to push a lot of guys around here.
Calvin, obviously, big order of business this offseason, getting a deal done with Jamal Murray. Just what went into those conversations with him, and what ultimately allowed you guys to come to a decision on him?
Well, I think, some things have been made of the amount of time, but I think it's a natural course of negotiations. And we both found a deal that we're satisfied with. And, Jamal's been fantastic for us over the years, and I think he'll continue to do so.
Calvin, I guess when you unpacked last season, what did you see, and what kind of went maybe wrong at the end, and how did you address that in the offseason?
Well, I think Coach Malone alluded to it. We've talked a lot with the Rams guys, and repeating is the hardest thing you'll do in sports. It brings on a lot of different pressures and tensions, and I think fatigue, quite frankly, from the start of the season. I don't think the in-season tournament helped that. Brought out a lot of people's competitive spirits, and I think we used a lot of energy in that first part of the season trying to win games. So, but I think it was a great experience for us, and we just have a even greater appreciation of how hard it is to win, both before and after.
Calvin, could you sort of what's your vision, I guess, for what Dario Saric can bring, and how do you kind of hope to see him used, I guess, within different lineups and at different roles, I guess, between center, power forward?
He's just a really good player. He can shoot, he can play make, he can rebound. Defense is probably the biggest question, but he has some smarts and physicality that will help there. And then we have guys like Peyton Watson, who's such a great rim protector, and I think that should help some too. But I think his versatility, I think you can see it. We'll have the ability maybe to rest Nicole a little bit more during the regular season. And I think he can play with or without Nikola, with or without Aaron Gordon.
Calvin, the announcement today with 9 News, seeing 20 games there over the air for the fans, just what's your reaction to that, how important it is?
Yeah, I mean, I was apprised of the news about an hour or so ago. I haven't really dug into the details of the deal, but I know I'm excited for people to live in the Denver metro area. I know it's been a long time where some people have been locked out of seeing local games, so I'm excited for the opportunity for the whole market to get to watch our games.
Calvin, you guys as a franchise, have always talked about, being a franchise with staying power at a championship level. How important is this year to that, knowing that you guys won one and you guys came up short one year, and this is kind of like the third year, and it could kind of be like a tipping point in that year to what we look back on what this deterioration of the Nuggets were?
Yeah, I'd like to look at it. In a best case scenario, I think Nikola has like a prime 10-year contention window, and if you count the first year of that when Jamal got hurt, I think we're about halfway through it. So we probably have about 5 more single shots, and all those shots count. So we want to try to, if we hit one of them, it's great, and the earlier we hit it, the more we can have other conversations about other things. But it's going to be incredibly hard to win another one.
Calvin, on one hand, you have the new CBA, which obviously hasn't just impacted this team, but a lot of teams around the league. On the other hand, you have the fact that very few free agents are actually hitting the market, and most people are re-signing their key players. How do you kind of navigate between those two priorities going forward with a limited free agent market versus the problems that the second apron presents?
I think it's all encompassing. I think, our guys performing well and winning a lot of games, which, ups their value, so to speak. And I think there's been a lot of conversation about winning or developing. I'm a big fan of Jim Collins, read the book Good to Great, and what we've been trying to accomplish is and, not or. You can win and develop. Like, once you've won, you have an obligation to develop. Oklahoma City's sufficiently developed their team, now they can try to win. So I think we're obligated, in order to be great, to try to do both.
Calvin, obviously, Duran suffers his offseason injury during Summer League. I know that you invested a whole bunch of resources into making sure to get him. Just what is his pathway going to look like for this season, and then hopefully to set himself up going forward?
I mean, a whole bunch of resources. I think it depends on how good he ends up being. If he ends up being like a really good player for us, I don't think it'll be that much. If he doesn't work out, it'll be a whole lot of resources. So what remains to be seen. But he had an unfortunate injury. Good thing he's a young guy. He's had a positive attitude. It happened early enough where we could prepare for it. And it was just disappointing to see him have that injury because he's playing well, and I thought he was going to be an exciting piece to our puzzle.
Every season you come in with a vision. First year you bring in defenders like KCP, Bruce, Christian, and Peyton. Year 2, more focused on shooting, Julian, Hunter, Jalen. And then this year, kind of what was your focus, or did you take a more wholesale approach, I guess?
Yeah, I think it was just evaluating our season after the season was over and trying to, think about where we're really at and be really self-aware of that. And I know the bench has always been a consistent theme every year since I've been here, prior to even making the playoffs. So, like, obviously I feel like adding Russ and Dario to our bench and having, I think we have 9 real guys. And then obviously we have, Blocko and Zeke and a couple other young guys. But, like, we have, I think, 9 guys that will be in everybody's rotation in the NBA. So I think if we can stay healthy, I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Calvin, with the shooting side of it, you guys were last in volume last season. With the offseason moves that you made, obviously you guys lose not just KCP but Reggie, Justin Holiday. How do you kind of evaluate where you guys are at from a three-point shooting standpoint and how to kind of keep up, I guess, with the large volume that has been the trend in the league for several years, especially with Boston winning it last year?
I think there's 2 aspects to that question. One's more philosophical in nature, and I'll deal with that second. The other one is we are riding a fine line with our shooting. When you have Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson all in your rotation, I think Christian should be left out of that conversation when he shoots 42.9% above the break last year. So, but like, it is going to be a fine line. It's something we have to monitor. If we need to address our shooting at the trade deadline, we'll do it. We have a couple young guys in tow. Maybe if we have some injuries or something, maybe they can show they can make shots under pressure. But it's something we definitely need to monitor. I think it's a philosophical question. If you're better than somebody, right? Like Nikola Jokic is better than everybody in the world. Like, why do the same thing they can do and make it random? Like, if we shoot the same number of threes as the worst team in the league, and they make more than us that night, they might beat us. Nikola Jokic should not lose games like that. So I think part of it's part of that equation is the fact that we have the best player in the world, and the way he plays a game and manages a game is in a way where we don't get a lot of three-point shots. I mean, he's the best floater shooter in the league, one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. Michael Porter Jr. shot 55% on mid-range shots last year. So, like, I think it's just it's a more complex conversation than just like we don't have enough shooting and what do we need to do to address it.
Calvin, can you paint a picture for what success would look like for Peyton Watson this season in your mind? And is there one thing in his offensive game that you would like to see him expand or show more of this year?
I think Peyton's a very talented young player. The sky's the limit for the kid, so to speak, but I'd like to see a little bit more mental maturity and professionalism, and I think he's been growing in that manner as we go. But when he's locked in, there was a point stretch in the middle of the year last year where I thought he's absolutely about to take off. And, I think him handling those moments and still working and still staying focused and actually taking that step is probably the thing I'm monitoring the most. On the court, I mean, like, his defensive impact. First year, I think we've been top 10 in defense. Guys shot 50.9% at the rim against him, number one in his position. I think him and Nikola accounted for the 13th best defense by two-man combinations. So, like, I think his defensive impact is just like it's hard to measure. First guy in NBA history, and these thoughts are so innocuous because you can come up with a query and put them together. But I thought this one was pretty interesting. One of you guys probably put it out there, but it was what was it? It was 80 blocks, 40 steals, 43 pointers made in less than 20 minutes. Pretty impressive for a guy like what he averaged at UCLA and was the last pick of the first round.